Alrighty, guys. Good afternoon to you all, or I should say good evening to you all here. Hope you guys are all doing well this Saturday, May 24th, 2025. I do apologize, guys. Me and Rochelle are out wedding shopping. We're getting ready for vacation. We're getting ready for my cousin's wedding, so we had to go get clothes, all that kind of stuff, etc. So we were out doing that all day, so I was not able to get a video out to you guys this morning. But we are going to go ahead and get this video out to you guys now. We got some pretty significant updates for today's severe weather, significant severe weather now expected for today, as well as tomorrow. I also want to say we did have a tornado last night in around Oklahoma around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So my apologies, guys, for not being on last night. I was in the middle of dead sleeping in the middle of that whole event last night. So good news is nothing significant was done in terms of that tornado at all last night. But we do have the threat once again for Oklahoma into the plains here for today, for tonight through tomorrow. I will mention you guys as well. I do not plan on doing coverage. We're very, very busy trying to get stuff taken care of for our vacation, as well as kind of getting our team off and ready to go for the next couple of days. So if there is a chance that I get on live, it'll be very, very, very late tonight. If there's anything ongoing, it'll probably be after 10, 11 p.m. if you guys do see me later on tonight. So we'll talk about that if we need to get on then. We'll kind of be in standby mode for that. And then tomorrow, I also do not plan to cover. We're going to be doing stuff as well with getting ready for vacation, as well as just family stuff in terms of being Memorial Day weekend. So we'll just pay attention to these forecasts, pay attention today, pay attention tomorrow and a Monday. If there's anything on Monday, we'll be in coverage mode on Monday. But today and tomorrow, just going to be very, very busy. I'm not going to be able to get on and do much of anything in terms of coverage for you guys. So Connor's going to more than likely be the same thing as well. He might be doing some coverage kind of spotty on and on, but that will be kind of where that's at now. So also, guys, speaking of Connor, if you do not follow Connor, make sure y'all do follow him. He will be taking over in terms of while I'm gone on vacation. Once we get back, we'll be in full-fledged hurricane mode season or hurricane season mode. So just be mindful of that as well. If you guys don't follow him, give him a follow. He's freaking awesome. Basically my brother, but from another mother, as I always tell him. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this forecast here. Going to talk about what we're going to see here for the next couple of days. And like I said, right now we've got some showers and some storms ongoing up here across the northern high plains here, up into portions of the Rockies. Our secondary MCS system moving back down here into the southeast. Two different areas of severe weather today that we've been watching for. Now there is going to be a severe weather mode that's going to fire off way later on tonight here in the central and southern plains here, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But you can see the two different modes of severe weather and strong thunderstorms that's ongoing down both in the southeast as well as up in the northern plains. So there are watches out, there are warnings out. Make sure you guys do pay attention to SPC or your latest news stations for those watches and warnings. There's weather alerts on your phones, there's no weather radios. Make sure you guys have those ready to go. That way you don't get caught off guard in the middle of the night. Now I do want to go ahead and talk about today. We did get a level 3 enhanced risk issued here for the Oklahoma City metro area back into Norman, Tulsa, up here in the northern portions of Oklahoma. We've got a level 2 slight risk back up here into Colorado, a slight risk that extends outside of this into Texas and then pretty much for the whole state of Oklahoma and western Arkansas, and another slight risk down here into portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and eastern portions of Louisiana, and then a marginal risk that extends outside of that, and a marginal risk down into Florida. So today, pretty active day in terms of severe weather. We are going to have the threat for significant severe weather. I do want to mention SPC did throw out a small 10% tornado risk. Now, this is not a hatch tornado risk, meaning strong EF2 plus tornadoes, but I still can't rule that out with the environment that we're going to have later on this evening. We've got three different areas here that we're watching for tornado potential. The main event's going to be in Oklahoma. There's a couple of models that are showing 1 or 2 or 3 supercells firing off very late tonight. If those do become surface-based and do become outflow dominant, we could see a couple of tornadoes in and around the Oklahoma City metro area later on tonight after 7 to 8 p.m. So just be very mindful of that. There will be a watch that gets issued later on. Like I said, if we can get on and cover, it'll be well after 10 p.m. tonight. So just have a way to get alerts on your phones, have no weather radios, know where to go when you get tornado warnings. We do also have 2% tornado risk outside of that here back into the southeast and back up into the Rockies, and then a 2 and 5% tornado risk that extends from the OKC metro area back all the way out to western portions of Arkansas here and eastern portions of Texas. So pretty big day in terms of tornado potential, not like outbreak potential, but a very consolidated area here across the plains. And then we do have a wind threat today, 15 and 5% there in all shaded areas for winds exceeding 60 to 70 miles per hour. And then the significant threat for today is going to be that hail. We are expecting 2 areas of significant hail back here into Denver, Colorado. We could see hail exceed 2 inches in diameter, and then back down here into Texas and Oklahoma, you guys need to be very, very, very mindful tonight. We could see hail exceed 2 to 4 inches in diameter, and that is per the National Weather Service's statement this afternoon being issued by them. This extends from Lubbock, Texas, all the way up into Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Fort Still area, western portions of Oklahoma, central Oklahoma here. So be mindful of that. 2 to 4 inch diameter hail, that is destructive hail, and then outside of that, we're going to have a 5 to 15% chance of seeing hail 1 to 2 inches in diameter in all other risk zones. So today is going to be a day you don't want to be letting your guard off. Make sure you are weather aware, have NOAA weather radios on, alerts on your phones. You can pretty much download any weather app on these days and get alerts on your phone. So definitely do that. I'll talk about the timing here in just a second. I want to go ahead and dive into tomorrow, where we do have another level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather here. Oklahoma City, once again, Norman, western and central Oklahoma into eastern portions of Texas here. This is also going to be a hail-driven risk zone. So the tornado threat a lot lower tomorrow than what today is. We're going to have kind of more of a damaging wind event that's going to develop tomorrow with this, and then a level 2 slight risk outside of this here in the yellow that extends all all the way back into the southeast, and then a marginal risk outside of that. Now, the main threats for today, or not for today, but for tomorrow, are going to be that significant hail threat. We do have a hatched 15% hail threat here for western and central Oklahoma, back down in northeast Texas for hail exceeding 2 inches in diameter. And then we also do have that 30% enhanced risk for a significant wind event that could develop later on tomorrow. So once again, western and central Oklahoma, if you guys have plans in these areas today and tomorrow, probably might want to reconsider moving those plans either to next weekend or Monday. This is not today and tomorrow are not going to be days that you want to be outside, messing around with the weather. It's going to be a pretty nasty next couple of hours here, 24 to 48 hour period for these storms to move through. And then we're not done after that. We're going to have another threat on Monday. So 30% hatched wind threat here in place for winds exceeding 75 plus miles per hour in and around Oklahoma City, back down into western Oklahoma and northeast Texas. Outside of that, 15 and 5% risk for winds exceeding 60 to 70. And then we do have a 2% tornado risk in Oklahoma City down south into northeast Texas. And that's going to be due to mesoconvective scale embedded tornadoes there. So we're going to have to watch out for all modes of severe weather both today and tomorrow. And then we get into Monday, and then we have another severe weather risk that basically covers almost the whole state of Texas. Marginal risk extends for Texas, Oklahoma, back down into the southeast, and then a level 2 slight risk here as well at play for your Monday here. All probabilities are going to be on the table here. We'll get into more on that in tomorrow's video once those are released. But we do have a hatched region back down here in the southwest Texas, more than the threat for hail. So those are your next 3 days. We're not expecting any severe weather, at least as of right now, for the day 4 through 8 outlook. Just kind of looking here. Could see some isolated marginal to slight risk setups as we go through these, continuing to see these mesoscale days over the next couple of days here through next week. But other than that, today, tomorrow, we're going to probably be our more significant days. As I've kind of mentioned over the last couple of days leading up to the weekend here, we could see a more organized severe weather threat. So just kind of something to mention there. Now, let's talk about what the latest Triple HR model run is showing here. This is our 18Z from about an hour ago. This is going to show us kind of what we're going to see storms do. And you can see a little bit of storm interaction back over here in the Rockies in that slight risk. But I want you guys to pay attention back down here into Kansas and into Oklahoma. This is where things are going to get a little bit more spicier this afternoon here and this evening. We're going to see a couple of discrete cells fire off. And dependent on if these storms can become surface-based, not stay high-based. High-based storms typically produce a damaging wind and the hail threat. You can get a tornado out of them. But we need to watch and see if we do get surface-based storms, because around 7, 8 p.m. tonight, if these storms do become surface-based, we're basically looking at pretty decent odds at seeing a potential 1 or 2, maybe even 3 tornadoes in and around the Oklahoma City metro area, east of that, north of that, south of that, the actual area where these storms are going to fire off at. Still to be undetermined until they actually happen, but you guys can see a pretty interesting window here between about 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. tonight, and then we're going to get a bunch of cells that are going to fire off overnight here, giving us an all-hail wind and or damaging wind and a hail threat with an isolated tornado risk after that. So the tornado threat is 10% just because a couple of those cells could be very, very strong. If they become surface-based, can't rule out, a pretty decent shot at seeing a tornado here and around Oklahoma City tonight. So do be mindful of that. Go to bed with alerts on your phones. Know where the radios, as always, know where to go when you get a tornado warning. Those showers and storms will be moving through tomorrow morning through the Ark-La-Tex into the eastern portions of the Central Plains there. And then tomorrow, I want you guys to see this. This is really, really interesting. We get it to about 3 to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Showers and supercells firing off here in the Central Plains. Again, Oklahoma, more robust cells firing off back here. I wouldn't be shocked to see that enhanced risk get extended to the west just due to what we're seeing with the afternoon model runs this afternoon here. Large hail, damaging winds, even a couple tornadoes here possible. Showers and thunderstorms ongoing in the Ark-La-Tex in the southeast again through the afternoon tomorrow. And then watch this, guys. We get a full-blown MCS here, and this is where I think a significant wind event could develop tomorrow evening here in Oklahoma City, back down south of that along the Red River here. Pretty significant Boeing line segment trying to develop here. Potential for producing isolated tornadoes. The threat for damaging winds and large hail will all be at play here, and then that does weaken through the overnight hours as that progresses east. And we'll start to talk about Monday in tomorrow's video once we get a better outlook at what Monday's going to bring. I will show you guys 2 different things here. Instability as well, going to be a huge plus. We have lots of instability, so that is not going to be an issue all the way through Monday. And then we actually do have some pretty significant tornado parameters that are also going to be in play through today. So you can see where that 10% is out there for western and central Oklahoma there. So be mindful, guys. If you were in OKC, you're not invulnerable to tornadoes. Y'all know that. Not saying you're going to get one, but we did see the potential last night for something. We had a very close call in and around the Oklahoma City metro area last night with a storm that popped up around 3 to 4 a.m. So just be mindful. These are the parameters through tonight, and then tomorrow a little bit lower, but still significant down there on the Red River. And then after that, we'll kind of look at Monday when Monday gets here. Let's kind of talk about what we're going to see over the next couple of days. As I mentioned yesterday, not a lot changing with our pattern here. You can see we got an upper level trough back here, ridge back down here into the plains, and this is allowing for these mesoscale convective scale days. We get these ridge riding storms here that happen on top of a high pressure system, continuing to bring the threat for MCS, those mesoscale convective scale systems, those damaging wind and those hail threats, and even tornado events as well. And then we've got a cold pocket of air that's going to be moving back down here into the plains, or not in the plains, but into the Ohio River Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, going into the end of this weekend here, setting up for what's going to be a very, very cold start to the month of May. A pretty significant trend in below average temperatures going into the month of June here. We do see the threat for some more slow and severe weather days going into Monday here, maybe even into Tuesday. And then really, like I said, the jet stream just starts to produce some colder air. We're not looking at like Arctic air or any of that, but this is going to be some colder air, and this is going to limit a lot of the severe weather potential going into next week. So perfect timing for our vacation. Could see some low and severe weather days back up here into the plains, up here into the Midwest, the Ohio River Valley, maybe into the end of next week. But until this, cold air aloft clears out, we're not going to see a lot of more of significant severe weather after today and tomorrow and Monday. So I do want to mention something as well here. We are officially, guys, 7 days away from the start of the national hurricane season, and we've already got a system down in the Pacific Ocean that basically has a 80 to 90% chance of developing between now and the next 7 days. So already over there in the Pacific, we're starting to see storms get active. But I want you guys to see something. I want you guys to also be very, very mindful as well here as we go through the next couple of days. Showers and thunderstorms across the United States, days of severe weather potentially there. But I want you guys to see something. This is the GFS run. Anytime we look at models, especially going into hurricane season, anything that is well over 7 days out, you take it with a grain of salt. Y'all know this. We talk about this a lot during the severe weather. But for my viewers out there and my people that post model runs that show very, very long range model runs showing like hurricanes or anything out far out, don't do that. That's not okay. That's fear mongering, all of that stuff. We don't do that here. But I want to show you guys something. This is just a signal. This is not saying we're going to get a system, next week or the week after that. But I want you guys to start to see something on the bottom of your screen right here. You see these little lows that start to develop closer to home down here. This is the last run of the GFS. So clearly this is, take this with a grain of salt. This is probably not going to validate whatsoever. Actually, it will probably not. It'll change pretty significantly. But we're starting to see closer to home storm low pressure systems try to develop here. And with the water temperatures down in the Gulf already exceeding above average temperatures than what they were last year, this is going to be something that we have to watch very close to home storms as we go through the month of June, and especially as we get into July, before our major development region gets going in August, September, and November. So if you are close to the Gulf, you need to have your hurricane preparedness plans ready to go. I'm going to start to talk about this over the next couple of days as we kind of get ready for that June 1st period here. I'll do more of that once we get back from vacation, but you guys need to be watching here. We could start to see the tropics maybe start to get active with any of these cold fronts that come through, these low pressure systems that kind of hang around off the Gulf or around the East Coast. It's not impossible to see storms very, very early in the season, as you guys all know that. So let's be prepared. Let's get ready to go here. Hurricane season around the corner. Be prepared if you're in severe weather risk zones. I'll have an update for you guys hopefully later on tonight. It'll be very, very, very late. If not, I'll see you guys in a video tomorrow. But other than that, guys, be safe, be weather aware, have a happy Memorial Day, and be safe out there if you are in those severe weather risk zones.